Right. Okay, so good evening, everybody. We are recording this session, so we'll allow participants to join. So I've put everybody on mute. I'll take everybody off. Otherwise, people just don't know how to operate, this mute channel and etc. So when we open up for questions, you can talk as much as you like. So what we're going to do tonight is we have 6 sessions planned. Obviously, tonight we're going to look at our navigation. We've got Francois Grenier from GARMIN on the line, and Francois is going to share some tips and tricks from a GARMIN perspective. We also worked on a document that I'll share it whilst we're on the call as well, and just to our advice of what you need to do with your GARMIN devices. It is very similar for a Wahoo or the Karoo or for whatever device you use. Obviously, GARMIN is one of our sponsors and one of our supporters. So, we will focus on the GARMIN devices. But if there's any other device and, we can assist you with that device as well, we will obviously do so. But for the purposes of this discussion, we're going to focus on the basic principles of navigation and just give you a few tips and ideas. So the first thing before we start, I actually just thought, we were on the route last weekend or last week, the whole week, and I see there's a few of our riders that has joined us tonight. And it's actually, every time that you think you understand your GARMIN or your GPS device, you learn something new. And what I wanted to show you is we use the program called Ride with GPS. And if we look at the route as an example, we've got specific cues that we've put on the system. So if you look at, here in the site, water point 1 for argument's sake. So you will, on your device itself, you will actually have the cues. And I think I thought of just starting there just to give you an idea what I mean by this. So let me just go to the end. So before we start and going into the detail, once you started your device and your route, you will have these kind of cues on your file. So you will know exactly, you are 60 kilometers away from water point 1. And as you go past through water point 1, water point 1 disappears and water point 2 will be 173.8 kilometers as an example. And this is a very good, motivator. It could be, demotivator if you see there's still 1,131 kilometers left. But, that's a very nice function of GARMIN that we're going to talk about. Okay, so what I recommend and what we're going to do is I've created this document, which some of you have seen in that we send out, etc. And although we've set it up according to the 840, the 540 GARMIN device, the 1040s, the 1030s, the basic principles are the same. And I want you to go and spend time on your devices and change your settings. It might not be exactly in the same follow order that I've got it in this document, but just use the logic that how we set it up, and that's what I wanted to go through tonight. So the first things first, and excuse the lame terminology that we're going to use, but this is really a document that we set up for dummies. And the reason being is some people are really technologically constrained or handicapped, and we want to make it as simple for everybody to understand, how to load the file. When you're in the middle of nowhere and your file bombs out, what do you do, etc. So I'm going to start at the basics. Francois, Alex, feel free to jump in at any time. And, we're just going to go through this document of what we want you to do. So if you get the document, if you get the file from us, first of all, you save it on your desktop computer. You plug in your GARMIN device into your computer, and your GARMIN, my X1040 will basically come up. You will click on that. you'll go to Garmin, you'll go to the function that says new files under Garmin. And, you know, there's files. So if you, I'll just make it slightly bigger that you can see it. There you go. So there's you know, folders that says, for argument's sake, courses. You don't go there, okay? You go to new files, you right click and you drop the file there. So my recommendation is we normally send the GPX file out or the fit file. It's the same thing. GPX is normally for other devices. You can also drop it onto the Garmin device. The fit file is just the format of Garmin, actually. So if you've got a different device, you will use the TCX file or the GPX files. It's absolutely up to you. You basically, once you've loaded the file, once we send it to you a week or 2 weeks beforehand, you basically unplug your device from your PC, you switch it off, and you go outside and you clear, you know, direction to the sky. You basically hold it up so that it can, you know, find the satellite dishes. You go to, you know, navigation, and you start the course. The reason for that is, you know, it just takes time to upload the course. It does give you sometimes an error, etc. But we'll, you know, don't worry about it for now. We're going to switch a lot of these functions off so you don't have to worry about it. Okay. So first step is to download it with a PC cable from your device, you know, from your PC to your device. That's step one. Okay. Once that file has been downloaded to your device, it will automatically sync with Garmin Connect. So the next step is to understand if it's downloaded, you know, onto your device, onto Garmin or Garmin Connect. How do you basically, you know, when something goes wrong and you need to activate the actual course from your Garmin? You go to Garmin Connect at the bottom. Let me just show you here. So you open Garmin Connect. At the bottom left-hand corner, there's a button that says More. Mine is done on an Apple, on a Android device. It's similar. You basically go to, these are all the same. Doesn't matter if you've got a Garmin or Android or iOS or Android. You go to Training and Planning. You click on that. From there, you go to courses. It will obviously, so I've just, for example, chose this 1,000-miler I've done last year. So you will choose the Munga 2024 final file. So all these other files should actually not be here, but I'll get to that. So we need to clean this file out so that there's no other courses, etc. Okay. And once you basically clicked on that file on your cell phone, you click to say send to device, and it would automatically sync. If you're in the middle of nowhere, you know, you might struggle to get it to sync. So this is just part of, you know, that's the device. So I've obviously had my Garmin watch on as well as the device, so you can actually send it to both devices or to multiple devices if you have multiple devices there. So whilst we're on that point, my recommendation is also to take multiple devices along. I would recommend to take at least, you know, your Garmin watch or your Garmin and another device. What happened with me in 2019, with all the shaking of you know, the smooth, non-corrugated roads, it actually broke the charging clip, and I didn't have a backup battery back there. So once the Garmin went dead, I was basically screwed. So that's why, you know, we recommend to take, you know, another device. So I think that's from the devices perspective. Let's just, whilst we're on the devices as well. So, you know, any device is a good device. So if we just stick to Garmin, one of the guys that's on the call here, I won't mention names, you know, ask if you can use the eTrax 20, which is a very older version of the eTrax devices. Battery life fantastic. It works on pen-light batteries. But, you know, the So we recommend that you either use the later editions of eTracks, or that you technological advance to actually understand how to load it. Francois, I don't know if you just want to add anything on the eTracks. Okay, I don't know, I can't hear you. Okay, so just before we go on, I've seen this Giacomo is disconnect. Please allow me when I reconnect. Oh, sorry, let me just reconnect everybody quickly. So we're just reconnecting everybody. Johan had a question. Why do we need to use a cable to upload? Is it wrong to save it directly to Garmin Connect? Johan, no, absolutely not. You can 100% directly connect it to Garmin Connect. I've just shown you both ways that people understand, exactly, where to upload it from a cable, or alternatively just to upload it from their devices. Okay. So let's just move on. So the older versions of devices, this is also just another tip and a trick. So should you want to send so if you have a Garmin 520, 820, 530, 1030, even the 1030 pluses, there's also a function, if you go to your device settings, to settings, there's a feature that says connected features. And then you can say click the device transfer. So both devices needs to do that. And then you can say click share file. You select the course and the device you want to send it from to the other person. You basically just say select file. On the other side, it will just say of sending. Unfortunately, with the newer devices, the 540, 840, 1040, 1050, you do not have that function, unfortunately. So that's it's a bummer, and yeah, you can't do that. Okay. So let's just go through a few of the settings that I want to share with you guys, and I want to just explain the logic and the reasoning, etc. So when you get to data screens and you set up your screens, I know everybody is a racing snake, and I know there's a lot of racing snakes on this group, but you're only as good as you think you are, because segments means as much as Strava means. Okay, switch it off, because anything that takes data takes memory, takes batteries. So switch it off for the Munga. You will still afterwards be able to sync it up. It just, the segments won't come up while you're riding. Okay. Climb Pro, I know it's a fantastic function. If you just do a normal ride, and you exercise or something, and you go and climb Sonic Pass, and you want to see that there's still 10 kilometers of 458,000 meters left, fantastic function. If you want to do it on the Munga, rest assured you're going to run into serious problems, because what will happen is the Climb Pro will come up every couple of minutes, and once it comes up, it will basically freeze or whatever the right word is, your device, and it will start. It will basically take 3 or 4 minutes to scroll back to the map or to the screen, because it just takes an incredible amount of data to actually just be very, I would switch it off completely, because of the memory it takes. So timer, so switch auto pause, etc. off, because if the time that you start and the time that you finish, that's the time that we count. If you want to see what is your moving time and all those wonderful things, there's elapsed time, there's lap time, so you can play around with it. But just be realistic with yourself. If you want to see when how and when you finish. Let's, you know, start the thing and finish it. Switch all auto pause and auto everything off. Okay. You can have this auto reminders, you know, as far as nutrition and those kind of things on. But, you know, if you make a mistake like I once did for a friend, instead of, you know, saying, you know, every hour, every minute, you got a warning to eat something. And on 1,000 kilometers, it can be, when I use kilometers or those kind of things, you know, put that on. But yeah, self-evaluation, you know, evaluation, switch it off. You don't need this. You can evaluate yourself afterwards, and put it on, you know, because it will give you the bumps and the tracks and all kinds of things if you're in the vicinity of it. So, you know, don't waste your time. You know, I normally you can use any satellite system. I like to use for best battery life, because I know if I use for best battery life, then, you know, the device lasts a little bit longer. And just a tip on the device as well. I always keep my Garmin device 50+% charged, because that's your lifeline. You need to have it on the map and keep it higher than 50%, because, you know, once the thing die and you don't know where to go, that is when you start panicking. And at night, you know, it doesn't matter if you know the route, you might still miss a turn off or whatever the case might be. I'm not a big fan of auto sleep. And I'll explain to you what happened to one of my dear friends, Colin Anderson, one year. He used the function auto sleep just after Fraserburg. There's a razzle dazzle. The device came up on, and unfortunately, sorry, just hold on one sec. His device came on, and what basically happened is, instead of turning left, he was fast asleep on his bike, and he went straight all the way to Salaray. He went all the way to Salaray-Fontein, and he had to turn around, cycle 30 k's back, and he had a whole detour of about 35 odd kilometers. So that's why I don't keep auto sleep on. I rather just charge my device. The devices actually charge quite quickly on the tour. Okay, so these are just a summary of everything that I said. Now you can read through it, the polls that I showed you on that screen. Okay, so the next, yes, Wise. Okay. If you
I think, Jock, first of all, thanks for the privilege of being assistant to these guys. I've never been in a fortunate position doing the Munga, doing the 1,000-miler, and I've been involved with quite a couple of other races with the guys actually doing in the States as well, up in North Africa. That's the biggest problem with all the different GPX files that's actually been created. So first of all, I just want to emphasize on what you've actually did there is, guys, if you download the file or the fit file for 2024, please ensure that you remove all the other GPX files or fit files that's currently on your device. The only device that will be suitable to take all these other devices on the installed memory will be the 1040 Solar, not even the 1050, the new 1050 that's been launched will be able to accommodate all the other files due to the size of the.
Yeah, that's
From a Garmin perspective.
Yeah. There you go.
We prefer to utilize the fit file. instead of the GPX file, because the fit file's got more details and the fit file's got less memory drain on the unit device itself. So as your cache is getting fuller and fuller, your fit file will actually create like a little buffer that will actually become more efficient than on the GPX file itself. All right, just to quickly compare the different devices at what Jacques also mentioned, the 540 solar, I'm going to start from the 540 solar, the 840 solar, the 1040 solar, and then we'll move.
Yeah. So you're just breaking up there, Swice? Swice, you breaking up. Just wait 1 sec. Let me just get to again what is going on here. Francois, there you are. Francois, we can't hear you. Sorry, Francois. Whoa. Okay, bel my net as jy weer wil op inkom, okay. Okay, ciao. Sorry guys, Francois just got a issue on his Wi-Fi, so we'll carry on, and once he gets back onto the Wi-Fi, I'll just advise you all. Okay. So the next thing, and the people that actually cycled with us last week can you know, vouch for this as well. One of the really important things, and I've learned it one day when I was searching about, you know, what is the best way of, you know, zooming in and out, because normally we all ride at, you know, 300, 400, 500 meters, a kilometer views, and what I actually realized was we're all making a huge mistake when you get to a very technical section. So when we went into a technical, well, it's not a technical section, it's just that detour around Oberg Pass, the farms before Oberg Pass. You know, I just want to show you, you know, just the example here. If you zoomed out at, you know, 2 kilometers, that's what you see. If you zoomed out at about 80 meters or 50 meters, this is actually the detail that you will be seeing. So, you know, you can either, you know, there's one or two ways. I basically say you can put auto zoom off. You can actually put auto zoom on and off. It doesn't matter. It depends on what you want to do. But when you get to a razzle dazzle or to a technical section on the Munga, it's always better to zoom in. Once you zoomed in, you can actually, you know, see the detail. Here you can see, you know, just take the example between 800 meters and, you know, 80 meters, you know. So there's just so much more detail. Specifically, you know, if you're going onto Jeep tracks, you know, from the main road, or you go through a gate and immediately left turn, 200, 300 meters. But when you do get into a technical section and you become, you know, chasing your tail, southwest, whatever the case might be, you know, just zoom in, press that little plus button on your device, and get to, you know, the closest that you can do. Is in this case, it is 20 meters. Okay. So if we could look at the navigation settings, and for me, this is really important. This is probably the most important, you know, aspect of this whole session. You have to go to your activity profile. So if your activity profile is, for argument's sake, for Munga or mountain bike or whatever the case might be, the settings that I'm going to share with you now is those settings. Okay, so that's where you see data, screen, segments, climbs, blah, 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 all those, you know, wonderful things. Okay, I just want to add Francois on here again. Yeah. Just 1 second. Francois, you're back on. Where's just want to go and add him onto this thing. So, Francois, you're back if you are there. Okay, so when you get to all these, when you get back to navigation, so I want to talk about your settings there, because this is the most critical thing why people make mistakes and get off course, etc. So first thing first, the options that you have is map, routing, navigation, prompt, sharp, etc. Okay, so this is what we basically say. You can track up; it's just easier than tracking down. Auto zoom really can have on or off. I like to keep it off because I like to zoom myself in and out. If you're not comfortable, keep zoom on. But yeah. Also choose mountain biking for that, as example. Calculation is, minimum time, minimum distance, whatever case might be. But it actually doesn't matter if you keep auto recalculate or auto recalculation off. Okay. Lock on the road, it's again neither here or there, but here are the two most important things. Course recalculation, please. You can't switch it off. You can switch it to say prompt only, and route recalculation. Those two are the biggest culprits of people getting lost. Why? The reason why that is so critical, your device is set to say minimum distance or minimum time. So once you go into the Tankwa and it says auto recalculation or route recalculation, it will take you the fastest way back into Ceres, and you will be completely off track. Okay, we have given you a course. So stick to that course, and the only way how you can stick to that course is, but when it prompts it, you basically zoom out, you press on that little minus sign, and what will basically happen, it will show you your two tracks or your track that you're on in turquoise or light blue, and the dark purple line will show where you're going. Obviously, that's when you're off course. So if it shows that both lines are going in the same direction, then you're on course. If one is going left and the other one is going right, use your brain and just follow that route. What happens a lot of time, and we've spoken about this in the past, on Google Maps, we might have, mapped it on the far right-hand side of the road. You might be riding on the far left-hand side, and it would say, listen, you're off course. But if you just use your brain and zoom in a little bit or zoom out, in that instance, you will see that you're actually on course. Okay. Avoidance setup, again, this is for dummies. You can think this for yourself. Everything else, just fairies. I mean, you can actually untick everything here. That's actually non-important. Okay. So the course recalculation, this is for options that you get. Prompt with auto reroute, prompt only, or auto reroute or auto pause. Please, these two, just stick to what we propose here and say prompt only. Route calculation, it does give you an option for prompt, automatic, or off. Just switch it off. You don't, if you use another route, then that what we proposed for you, we basically going to disqualify you, and or we're going to give you serious time penalties. Okay. Another thing that I just wanted to share with you. So, stay on the map. Always, utilize or use the map itself. For going to look at your heart rate, time of death and all those wonderful things, it means nothing. Okay. You're riding the Munga and you don't want to get lost. So stick to the map. Add whatever buttons you want to at the bottom of the map, and just follow the map, because that's what you want to do. So as I said, just to recap the data screens, you can change and play around but disable the Climb Pro profile, disable the segments, disable the workouts when active, and, you know, use as minimum, you know, of the data screens. Everything just, you know, eats battery life, and you want to, you know, extend the battery life as far as possible. Okay, so there's a lot of things, a lot of files that you can use from Connect IQ. You know, I won't use it for the Munga, but just to show you, one of them is wind field. It shows you where the wind is coming from, and when you're on the Munga, you know, you will know that the wind will always come from the front. So wind field is not going to help you a hell of a lot on the Munga, but for races in the city or other places, yeah, it's cool. I like the music control one on specifically on the Garmin Edges, that you can actually change, you know, the music automatically from your device, and you don't have to play around with your phone. I think that is really a very cool function that you have. So again, I'm going to send this out to you. You can have, you know, this is just a few screens that I use. I like to see time of day, lapse time, distance, total ascent, average speed, battery life, heart rate, although I don't recommend driving with a heart rate monitor because, you know, it basically compresses you and you can chafe quite a lot. Temperature, I don't know why anybody would want to know that, and power if you ride with power. But again, it's all up to you. So this is a very cool function that I want to show you that you can download from Connect IQ. It's called Map Dashboard. There's quite a few different ones. If you go to your normal fields on your maps, you will only have 2 fields that you can set. So there's an altitude one, which I always switch off because it just gets in the way. But this map data field for the map screen actually give you, unfortunately, I don't think you can change these, but it gives you, more fields. I think 4 to 6 fields. I think you can actually play around with what fields it is. But if, otherwise, I like to just say, distance to next, or time to the next waypoint, and average speed I like to use. So you can have distance, you can have time of day, whatever case might be, and stick to this screen, because this is what is, showing you where to go. Don't get, I spoke to a friend today, and we overanalyze these things. Be aware of not overanalyzing these, everything. Keep it as simple as possible. Take all the noise, around, overcomplicating your life. Get on the bike. You've got nothing else to do, and just follow the route. So, Connect IQ, you can download it directly from your phone on Garmin Connect, or you can download it from your physical device as well. So that's the next one.
Jacques, I think just before we proceed to the satellite usage, I just want to quickly explain to the guys regarding the usage of the mapping itself, as well as the created waypoints on the GPX files. We are using, as we've got the best technology currently available on our edge devices, it's still a dumb device. So the information that you're going to give the device, that's the information that you will get out. So, and I think some of the guys actually had the same issue, especially now regarding the grid that we had in Northwest. The guys were traveling on the GPX route, and then all of a sudden will give you an indication that in 10 kilometers or 12 kilometers, make a U-turn. So pure and simple, what will happen? The device will follow the waypoints that is being created on the GPX route or on the fit file route. So the device will follow from point 1 to point 2 to point 3. And if the distance between point 2 and point 3 is a little bit further than under normal circumstances, the GPS will deviate and will go to the shortest route. That's why it will actually still keep you on the route, but it will just indicate to you make a U-turn, because it's actually connecting to a shorter one that's actually in closer vicinity of the unit. So just keep to the route. And if there are any guys that are still using the Utrecht 22s or the 32Xs, you're more than welcome. I am on the group. Give me a private message. I will send you the GPX file. I've already created it. with lower waypoints. In total distance, it's about 3 kilometers shorter than the total distance of the full Munga. But it's still making use of all the different waypoints. We've just cut it down from 11,494 to 7,900 for the device to be suitable. Right, then just another function from my side. Guys, please don't change your device lighting or your background settings. Keep it to auto. The moment that you move it over to manual and switch on every 2 minutes, switch off every 3 minutes, your battery drainage is bigger than when you use it on the auto mode. Because the auto mode, it will detect it on its own little filament, and it will actually adjust to the maximum usage of the battery power. So that's from my side.
Sure. Just on that one quickly. So we actually Marty, Hansi's wife, got a new device, and said no, there's definitely issues. So she only changed her device to 20% brightness. That 20% brightness with the solar device, basically the device, I can't remember, Francois, I think it was something like 6 hours. It was flat.
The total was 14 hours, and she got a maximum of 7 hours from the device.
Yeah, so it's a simple thing like that, but let's unfortunately it is real, and it's a very important point of just keep it on auto. This what is it, Francois? Auto what?
Yeah, it's auto background.
Auto background. Okay, so that's really, really, really critical. Okay, so thanks, Francois. Can I go on, Francois? Anything else?
That's fine from my side. Thanks, Jacques.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you something quickly. So I've just plugged in my Garmin file here, and I just wanted to show you something here quickly. So I've got the 2022 Munga file and the 2023 Munga file, because I was just playing around. If you have multiple files here, your ride that you had last week, and another ride that you had a couple of weeks ago, whatever the case might be, please delete all these files. And whatever file is the latest file that we send out to you, that is the file that you're going to use. Okay. The second thing that I just wanted to show you, and this is the only two things that I think is critical in here. There's no temporary files actually here. I just wanted to see. Yeah, so there's nothing. So if you've got any temporary files in here, just clean it out. Activities I want to show you as well. So I clean this out always. So just take all these temporary files, or all your activity files the week before the Munga. Remember, you do not delete these. They will always be on Garmin Connect. If you take it off your device, the device is just a dumb unit that basically, record the data. Everything will remain on Training Peaks or Garmin or whatever else the case might be. Okay, so I think let me just do this quickly. I just want to unmute everybody, and then we just open. Tonight this is a short section, so I just want to invite everybody. So everybody is unmuted. So you can, if you've got any question, just unmute yourself and just ask any questions relating to navigation. As I said, let me just talk about so while you think about your questions, the next section is about hydration, food, water, how much to carry, etc. The next section, the session after that is packing, lights, kit, what to wear, etc. The next section, the fourth session, is about race villages and water points. What you can expect and what you can't expect, how it works. We'll have a session specifically about over-analyzing race strategies. If you do, less than 3 days, 3.5, 4.5, 5 days, what is things that you need to be, on the lookout for. And then the last session, which is, and maybe we'll move it around. So the official race briefing will be on the 13th of November, 2 weeks before the race, and then the racing strategies we'll do on the 20th, a week before the race. So I think that's how we, how we're going to do it. So yeah, I think any questions?
Jacques, maybe if I can just mention a few general strategies to augment the technical stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got your GPX file, and the problem is most riders rely on that exclusively, that they pay very little attention to the background and the general navigation in a conventional sense. And so, often guys will come out of race villages and they'll just go the wrong way, or they'll get to a T-junction and go the wrong way, or they get out of a water point and they'll go the wrong way. So it's really worth your while to spend a couple of hours once, and you can get last year's route more or less. That, the route over the years generally stays the same. And to open that up and open it up in a Google, satellite or map, and just visually navigate through the route, understand which way you're coming into Water Point 1, Water Point 2, Kloof Dam, Bridgetown, and so on, so that you're a little bit familiar with the overall background, and you're able to easily pick up if you're heading in the complete opposite direction, And I can tell you, every year there are guys who spend hours and hours going in the wrong direction before their device, for whatever reason, tells them. So, the first thing is just spend a bit of time with that on your computer. You've got plenty of time to do that. The second thing around that zoom setting, the best way to get familiar with that is on your normal training rides, fiddle around the zoom setting so you get familiar with the different scales and how that translates to reality around you. Because if you're suddenly doing it in razzle dazzle before Loxton for the first time, you're not going to understand anything about that zoom, So spend time practicing the zoom. The third thing is just understanding that there's Francois kind of hinted at this and specifically spoken to it. There is a general inaccuracy to every device. They say Garmin is accurate to within 10, 12 meters. And sometimes this translates to the opposite side of the road. In the old days, guys would complain that we automatically prepared the route on a map software, and in reality out there, it was inaccurate. That's not the case. You can manually ride a route, record it on the road with your bike, upload it into a software, and the minute it's transposed onto a Google overlay, it can be on the opposite side of the road. And so you'll often have the device telling you you're off route, and you're not off route, you're on the road. And again, this links to the first point. If you've got a good sense of where you're heading, and there's no, from reading through the route that you're not going to take a track left or right, if the device is telling you you're off route and it's overlaid on the other side of the road, you're just better able to handle that. And then the final point I want to make is around just a very simple hack. So we use, you heard Jack saying we use Rider's GPX. Most of the software programs that run these various GPX files and mapping files have a pretty similar app interface on the phone. And so with Rider's GPX as an example, you can bring up the Munga file, and you don't have to navigate to access it. So once it's up and your phone has cached it, it has a tiny little icon that you can push, and suddenly your location is evident. It's not automatically evident. You have to push that icon. But what this means is, irrespective of GSM signal, anywhere on the Munga route, if you think you lost, you can take out your phone, you can open Rider's GPX, what should be open anyway, push that little icon, and it'll instantly show you where you are in relation to the route, and you'll have a very clear idea whether you've taken the wrong turn. And then you don't have to try and reach one of us in the middle of the night when there's no signal, It's a very simple hack. it's not a strategy to navigate. It's a strategy to quickly find out if you think you're wrong, to see exactly where you are.
Is al verlore. So hy probeer vir hulle verduidelik op 'n ander manier om net te kyk of jy nou verlore is of nie. Die ou is raak is nie laat. Hy sê soos die ou kom by die waterpunt en dan gaan hy verkeerde rigting. Ja, dan wys hom die verkeerde rigting. Hy sê kyk net voor die tyd op Google Maps en so en hoe jy moet maar jy waterpunt oopmaak en jy kyk, jy moet as jy uitkom moet jy regs gaan of jy moet suid gaan of noord gaan of jy moet net 'n bietjie weet waar jy
Ja. Cool. Nee, wonder.
ja.
Okay, cool. Alex, anything else?
No, I'm good, all good.
Okay, so just something what Alex said, which I just want to explain to you, everybody as well as. So just one example that happened. I just want to get out. So one example that happened last year. So somebody came out of Water Point 6, which is Pompoenpoort, and what basically happened is, you know, our friend Grant McLean went left where, you know, the route to Loxton is right. And, you know, the GARMIN or the device that he's used, I don't know what device he was, you know, didn't, you know, or it warned or didn't warn him, we don't know. But he did a detour of 60 km and came back to the same point where he started. So what I want to say in a bad way is, you know, look at that purple road, even though, you know, on the top of the screen, it might say, you know, turn in 2.5 kilometers, and it might or might not always be right. Always look at that little arrow on the purple line and follow that. When we were doing the recce last week in the Tankwa, at one point at a T junction, we got left because it was the heading on the screen. So follow that purple line and, you know, just switch on, you know, or to reroute and or to recalculate. I think those two things are the biggest culprits. The rest of the stuff is reasonably self-explanatory. So yeah, I think that's it. So I will send out this file, which I've updated while we were talking now. I will update it directly after the session. If there's not any other questions, so maybe I'll just ask once more. Is there any other questions for now? Then then we'll.
Sorry, just the last one from my side. Regarding our devices, gentlemen, I'm talking on behalf of GARMIN itself. The device is equipped with a little dust cover at the bottom. The dust cover has been installed for a reason. That's why it's been called the dust cover. I know, and I'm familiar that there are some people that are still charging units while they are busy using the device en route, making use of surface mount components on the inside. If that's getting in between your micro USB port as well as your USB-C port onto the device itself, it might cause damage and it might cause an issue whereby the warranty will be voided. So preferably, if possible, please rather charge the device at any of the water points. The devices are all equipped with trickle chargers, so that's why you will see it charged very quickly. So rather charge it for 5 minutes at every water point while you stop in, please. That's just one request from our side on behalf of GARMIN. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, and those things do break off or whatever case might be, and you do get the you know the what do you call it, battery packs that you can use that is actually better to charge. So, you know, maybe just, you know, look at all those kind of things as well. Okay. So I just want to share before we go. I want to share, or you know what, I'll share it by email. Any other questions?
Jock,
Okay. Yes.
Jock, I have a question for Francois, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, so sorry for the echo. Jock, yeah, so the question is, I have a 810, a Garmin Edge 810. Is it possible for me to replace the battery on that unit?
Gerald, no, from our side, we're not supporting the 810 any longer. The 810, 820 is no longer in production. So the only thing what we can do, you can actually hand it into Jacques or into your Garmin distributors, and we can make a plan for you. But unfortunately, we don't have the facilities in South Africa to open up our devices, because all our devices are sealed according to our IP ratings on the devices, and we don't have the facilities to do that. So all the devices being returned to the production line in Taiwan. So in short, no, unfortunately not.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Cool. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, everybody. We don't want to waste time. It's been an hour. So with next week's session, we're going to have an expert from Namik Sport, the dietitian that's going to help us just what they basically going to supply on route. We're going to talk about electrolytes. We're going to talk about, real the food you're going to get on the Munga, not overcomplicating, having salmis, etc. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. And this session has been recorded, and with the recording, we will send out the file, how to set up your GPX file. If anybody comes to us on the day of a Munga, I'm going to tell you that I won't be able to help you, although Garmin will be there and help as much as possible. But please change the settings on your device now. Your normal riding routes and stuff, set it up as a course. Get familiar with your navigation devices, and yeah, we're looking forward to the next session next week. Have a good evening, and until next week.